Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is TWiT Live special number 117, recorded April 17th, 2012. NAB 2012, Day 2. Our TWiT Live specials at NAB are brought to you by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to Squarespace.com. Use the offer code NAB4. And by Pond5, the world's stock market marketplace. If you're a media maker who needs stock video clips, photos, illustrations, music tracks, or sound effects, check out Pond5 for instant downloads at the best prices anywhere. And for 50 files, absolutely free through May 31st, visit www.pond5.com/twit. And by Ford, featuring voice-activated Sync App Link. Now you can control select smartphone apps with your voice, helping keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Learn more about the technologies Ford is bringing to its vehicles at ford.com/technology. Welcome once again to the National Association of Broadcasters NAB show, Day 2 for NAB 2012. Leo Laporte here from Las Vegas, Nevada, the convention center, and 90,000 broadcasters, content creators, filmmakers, and more are here for the NAB show, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. We've got a big day planned for you. For a couple of hours, we're going to take a look at the show floor. We're going to wander around a little bit, talk to some people up here on the stage. Then it's Mac Break Weekly time at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 UTC. And Mac Break Weekly will be here from the show floor. We've got Alex Lindsey, Larry Jordan, our Final Cut expert, Alan Tepper from the Pro Video Coalition, to talk about Macs in content creation specifically, but Mac news in general as well. Following that, we'll go back to the Brick House studio for TWiT Photo and Tech News Today, and come back here with more from the show floor at the National Association of Broadcasters. We're here all week. We're here through Thursday morning, so make sure you stay tuned. There's lots of stuff. And if you missed our coverage from yesterday, including some amazing stuff, the new Canon cameras, a very inexpensive, some might say free, and we'll explain that, camera from Blackmagic that does amazing stuff, some really cool gear. We have that all on the TWiT specials feed, twit.tv/specials. You can subscribe to that feed, and you'll get each of our specials from the NAB show as we do it. Before we go too far down the road today, I got to say hello to this guy who has probably not slept since yesterday.
I haven't slept since last Thursday.
Philip Nelson of Newtek. He is the guy who hooks us up, man. And I like the new hair. I hadn't seen you since the hair went yellow.
I had a battle with a bottle of bleach and lost.
Philip, of course, is the guy who gives us has provided us with a Tricaster 850 Extreme whenever we go to these shows. It's great to have a Tricaster, same one we have at home. In fact, our first experience was here. Maybe it was CES or it was NAB last year. I think it was NAB last year.
Was it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you know, it's been an exciting day. You're talking about the Tricaster 850 Extreme. I just came from the Studio Daily Prime Awards, and Tricaster won 2. We won 2 really cool awards. One was Best Integrated Feature Set.
That's true.
It does a lot.
There's no competition.
The other one was Best Overall Value.
That's awesome.
2 amazing awards. So it's a great way to start the day, and I get to come straight from that and hang out with the legend, Leo Laporte. So
you were
I'm glad
singing
to be
country
here.
music last night.
Yeah, we had some fun. You might as well have some fun in Vegas.
At the old, what used to be the Star Trek bar.
I know, it's weird. I was up there playing country music surrounded by airlocks and hoses and bizarre Star Trek things.
I saw pictures.
It was surreal.
So we're excited because tonight is Broadcast Minds. Did that last year and had a blast. this year I get to moderate, and some big names on the panel.
Yeah, including you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really excited to have you moderating the panel. It's going to bring a really exciting dynamic. But, it is, Broadcast Minds, the concept of this panel and this discussion is really to talk about where we're going.
Yeah.
The future of broadcast and streaming and television. So, we've got Jeff Jacobs from MTV. He's the guy that really pioneered MTV doing streaming content to surround their major broadcast events. We've got Bill Chapman from Turner, who is like the vice president of emerging technology at Turner. We've got Jeff Hawley from Yamaha. And the cool thing about Yamaha is they are a music equipment manufacturer, but they're doing enterprise level streaming and taking their trade shows to the world. So they may have 100,000 people come through their booth at NAM, but they'll have 500,000 watching online. Wow. And then we also have Kevin Pollak, the veteran actor, comedian, and I think with you moderating, it's going to be a panel to see tonight.
I can't wait. Kevin's so funny. And I've known him for years, since he was a comic in San Francisco. He used to be on my radio show, and he's a great guy. And so it's going to be a wonderful panel. And the topic is the future of TV, nothing less than where TV's headed. And really a lot of it, I think is, of course I'm a little biased, is online. And,
it is.
And without the TriCaster, we could not do what we do in our studio. You've got a great booth here. Wow, it's to see Bill and, it's Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki.
And who else? And Don, right?
Don and Rex.
And Rex, that's right. Don,
the
Rex,
dynamic
and Kiki.
trio.
And what they do, and if you are in Vegas, you got to come to the NAB show and see this, because they're standing on a green stage, and then they use the TriCaster, and they do amazing things. Like they're in 3 different sets, even though they're standing like feet away from each other. Don will be in a screen behind Kiki, and then they'll zoom into the screen. It looks like it's Don by himself. Then they'll zoom out. They float him around. But the wildest thing was these new MEs that you have. MEs in MEs.
Yes,
MEs is what, media?
Mix effect.
Mix effect.
So basically, it allows you to have a switcher within a switcher within a switcher.
Within a switcher, within up to millions of switchers. That's what's wild.
We did a test. And actually, we've gone higher than this, but you talk about how many real-time layers something can do,
right.
And some people say we do 4, some people say we do 15. So we decided to push the limit on the TriCaster 8000, and we have video of over 9 million layers.
I was
Leo,
watching it.
if you need more than 9 million layers, we need to talk, and we'll have to work on some things.
Let's put it this way: there are more layers than pixels on the screen.
Yeah, it's
so
like
I think at that
16 layers per pixel. It's stupid.
I think
it's
at
ridiculous.
That point you're done.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anymore. But it's really, and the thing is, it's moving in real time, and it's I've never seen anything like it. It's really incredible.
One of the most exciting things that we're seeing, and your panel tonight is really about the future of television. And so one thing that's happened in the TriCaster 8000 that we think is going to probably the most significant change is the addition of social sharing and the media engine.
I thought that was interesting
in TriCaster, because switching technology really hasn't changed in 30 years. The production switcher hasn't changed, and what we've tried to do with TriCaster and the TriCaster 8000 is to come up with a new paradigm for live television production, whether it's for the web, for broadcast, or for screens.
Right.
And so with social, one of the problems currently is you do your show, and let's say it's an hour show, then you go into processing mode, and you take your clips and you do things to them, and an hour or two later you have your clips up. With this new social sharing in the TriCaster 8000, you can mark clips while you're live, and the TriCaster starts sharing them while the show's still going on.
Wild.
So if you're a red carpet show for the VMAs, and some person shows up and does something insane, that clip can be processed as the red carpet show is going on. So we're trying to really look at where the future, where the industry needs to go, and that social side and sharing content while the show is live is going to be huge.
So you announced the TriCaster 880. I'm sorry, the 855 is what you announced, and the 8000. So you got 2 new TriCasters.
We've got the 455, the 855, and the 8000. So
3 new TriCasters.
3 new TriCasters. And, another cool thing that has been added is we've added support for an iPad. We have an iPad app for the TriCaster 8000 that allows you to control audio through your iPad.
Oh, that's really neat.
And we've also announced some support for the Avid tactile audio interfaces. Wow. So there's a lot in this technology. know, and like you mentioned in the virtual set technology, we also now have hot buttons, hot spots on the screen where, as the host, Leo, you could just move your hand to an area of the screen and it could trigger effects, trigger graphics to come in.
And there's kind of automatic follow, too. There's some really, really neat things.
It is innovative.
Alex, can you see my screen, or is that not available to you? Yep. Okay, I must have unplugged. Oh, I did. It fell out.
I'm Leo's new tech here.
Thank you. Would you hand me the cable there? Thank you very much. It fell out. Because I wanted to show people, one of the things that you've added now is a new, we use the Tricaster interface board, and you've added a new switcher board. And we've just realized that in order to accommodate this, we're going to have to expand our desk.
You know what?
The new desk in.
This
is the current board that we're using, right?
You know, the funny thing about that was actually said by someone in the press when they came to our suite.
They said, Leo's
going to have to get a bigger desk. It's like the scene from Jaws. We need a bigger boat.
We're going to have to get a bigger desk. John, our studio manager, said that immediately. I hope we can. I can't wait to play with this, and I hope we can get we'll get one for sure.
I can assure you, you know people, Leo. It
one
can
way
happen.
or the other, we're going to have this, and we're going to play with it. This is an amazing thing. NEWTEK.com. Everything we do at the TWiT Brick House and here on the road is powered by Tricaster. It's so funny. You came and visited me in the Mini Cooper.
Yes.
A year ago. You had Kiki Stockhammer in a fire suit stuffed in that thing, along with entire HD production facility and a dish on the roof. And I thought, it can't get any smaller than this. You're out front with a smart car.
I know, the world's smallest mobile unit, in a smart car. And the crazy thing is we have a full HD production system, and there's still room to seat 2 people. And it's a smart car.
It's pretty funny. It's right out front and getting a lot of attention at NAB. You guys have been the leaders in doing it affordably and efficiently, and there's nobody better than you, and I really am grateful. Thank you, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very. We appreciate what you do, and you make us look great.
Well, I can't wait till tonight. Breaking news, we will stream that. You will stream it, and we will stream it. Using Tricasters, of course. The Broadcast Minds event is 6 o'clock this evening.
6 o'clock tonight.
6
so,
o'clock.
Yeah, so your fans at home can watch and see Leo work over Kevin Pollak.
It's going to be really, really fun. 6 to 8 p.m. Kevin Pollak, myself, folks from Yamaha, Turner Broadcasting, and MTV talking about the future of television. And we'll stream it live. Broadcast Minds. Is it sold out? Is it too late if you're in the area?
It's way overbooked.
Okay.
But
I won't give out ticket information.
Actually, if people want to go to Newtek.com, there's a link. You could probably still get on the guest list in case somebody's a no-show.
Okay.
First come, first served. It's not a guaranteed seat if you're RSVP'd. So, but you do have to be RSVP'd to get in.
Okay.
So somebody could RSVP and show up really early and get in, and that'll be your heckler, I'm sure.
Cocktail. That'll be the
Leo will be like, "Thanks, Philip. Appreciate that."
In, huh? 6 o'clock. The cocktails begin. 6:30. Cocktails flow. 6:30 to 8 p.m. Our panel discussion, and we will stream that live on TWiT as well as at NEWTEK.com. Congratulations,
Leo. Thanks,
Great
man.
to see you, Philip. Go get a nap or something. Are you going to have any? You're not sleeping till Sunday. Or
no
Monday.
Sleep allowed till next Thursday.
Philip Nelson of Newtek. We're going to head out to the field. Alex Lindsey, he's back in the field, and this time he's at a place we all love because the only way we can get our TriCaster here is with a Pelican case. Alex, take it away.
Hi, this is Alex Lindsey, and we're here at Pelican. Now, if you're not doing a lot of production, you may not have heard of Pelican or Pelican cases. If you're in production, you're like, oh, yeah, everybody knows about Pelican. Because Pelican basically makes the cases that all of us put all of our gear in. So it can range from cases like this. Now, these are shock-mounted cases. Shock-mounted, watertight, all of that stuff here. So there's a variety of options here. And then also just general cases. And so they come in all different sizes. So this one is actually to keep your SD cards all taken care of here. So this is a nice, we have, I think every card that we use in production has a bunch of these little cases that hold them. And then this one is for your iPad. So they really, and what happens is, I think, is every time Pelican, there's something new, you're just waiting for Pelican to come out with a custom case that's going to fit your need. Now, if you have more general needs, one of the things you can do is start to have, what you do is you'll either laser cut these or pick and pluck. I really suggest the laser cut or do something that kind of keeps all those pieces together. But anyway, this is laser cutted here. And what you can see is a nice soft foam covering. It's really important when you're thinking about shipping something. So when we really move to Pelican is when we know we're going to check something. As soon as we know we're going to check something, it's more than just all the padding and everything else. it's also the fact that it's watertight and airtight, and that it actually it will actually kind of vent as it's when it's in the air. One of the big problems that you end up with electronic equipment is that when it's in the cargo hold of your airplane, it's going to get really, really cold if it's not airtight, even if it's not really packed in here. And when it gets cold, it's going to condense because it's not watertight. And so what you want to do, water's going to condense on it, and it's really a problem for electronics. And so that's why it's important to have a nice hard case that someone can throw, because we've all seen our luggage thrown around, and when that's your camera, you'd really prefer it to be protected, and in the fact that it is in a watertight, airtight container. So now there are a couple things that have changed. One of the things about a couple of years ago, Pelican bought Stormcase, and so this looks pretty much the same as a Pelican case, except for the fact, a couple of features here. One is, see these little buttons here? Turns out that that's really useful, because if you open a Pelican case, here you can see this is standard Pelican. Okay, that may seem like it's not that big of a deal, but that gets pretty hard on your hands. And I can tell you, as someone who probably has 40 or 50 of these things, that it's a pain in the neck. The really nice thing about the Storm case is that you can just kind of pop it open gently. I know that seems like not a big deal, but when you do that many, many, many times a day, it really we wish we had more of these. So the Storm case is definitely something to check out to see if the sizes make sense for you. But definitely, once you start really having mission critical equipment that needs to be shipped around the world, this is one of the first places that you're going to have to go. Pelican, and we're here at NAB 2012. I'm Alex Lindsey.
Oh, Alex, he owns. Thank you, Alex. He owns more Pelican cases. I've never seen so many Pelican cases. Alex shares Pixel Corps shares space with us at the Brick House, and when they're going somewhere, the whole hall is lined with several dozen, and they're not small. He was showing you small ones, giant Pelican cases. He's right. We couldn't live without them. It's really great. Do we use Pelican cases to bring our stuff down? We do, yeah, they're great. It's good stuff. Every photographer uses them. I have a little Pelican case for my photo gear. I'm going to Norway, by the way. Catherine Hall is doing a TWiT photo without me later in the day, and then she and Ryan are flying. When are you flying? Wednesday? Thursday? Thursday to the Nordic Light Festival in Norway. And I will be following her shortly thereafter, and we're going to shoot a TWiT photo. You won't see it live, but we'll shoot a TWiT photo at the Nordic Light Festival, which should be amazing. 20 incredible photographers will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. This program, as usual, brought to you by our great friends at Squarespace. I think when you talk photographers and photography, are we having an earthquake? I think they're adjusting something. I feel like we're moving. When you talk about photography, you got to talk about having a website. And I have to tell you, I know photographers spend a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money on websites. Squarespace.com. Squarespace.com. This is it. The best hosting ever. You cannot bring a Squarespace site down. Secure, reliable, 99.99 uptime, and you get the best software ever for managing your website, the incredible Squarespace content management system. Everything you need to create an amazing website. Visit squarespace.com right now. You click the green Try It Free button, and you can play with everything for 2 weeks. All you need to provide them is a name, an email, a name for your site, and a password. You can even uncheck the box that says stay in touch. You won't get any emails from them. It's just incredible. Just click that Try It Free button right there. And then once you've got it, you're going to be playing with an amazing set of tools. 13 new template redesigns, 85 new style options just added. They've got 2 brand new templates to join their already amazing styles and templates from brand name designers. Thing is, it isn't cookie cutter because you just start with those templates. And then you customize them. You don't need to know any code. You just point and click your way to a unique, beautiful website. The Google web fonts, too, really add something. Great typography is huge for design. And over 300 fonts in that library. All of them work with every browser, too, so it's really fantastic. If you are a CSS fan, you'll love the color-coded CSS pop-out editor. They even have 3 themes, so you get to choose how you want your color coding to work. They've got an Android, an iPad, and a tablet interface, so you can use those apps to post, to moderate, even to see stats. And boy, the stats on Squarespace are really great. A great way to know what your visitors are doing. Control your... stats are important. You need to know what pages are the most popular, what pages are never viewed, and you could do all of that. This is so cool. Look, don't take my word for it. Just go there, try it free. If you decide to buy, you will want this offer code NAB. Is that right? Yeah, NAB4. $8 a month when you buy a year package, and if you use NAB4, you get 10% off that. So we're talking $7.20 a month. You can't get a better hosting and content management system for less. You can't. If you want the full Megillah with all the core features plus unlimited pages, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage. Wait a minute, unlimited bandwidth for $16 a month. I think we're overpaying. I think we need to go to squarespace.com. We use it for our Inside TWiT block, and it's just fantastic. Never worry about how much bandwidth you use again. For $16 a month. And you take $1.60 off if you use the offer code NAB4. Squarespace.com. We head out to the field once again. I've repositioned Alex Lindsey. Actually, he recorded most of these yesterday. He's been all over the place. He is, I think, but we got Scott Wilkinson out in the field. I think Kirk Harnack is out in the field, our host of This Week in Radio Technology and host of Home Theater Geeks. And Alex Lindsey is out in the field. He's going to be back to do Mac Break Weekly at 11, but I think he pretty much covered the entire trade show floor between yesterday and this morning. Here he is at Photo Hire. Alex?
This is Alex Lindsey, and I'm at Photo Hire with Kimberley Attwell. And what do you guys do?
We specialize in building innovative unmanned aircraft systems for autonomous aircraft. And our main product at the moment are 3-axis stabilized camera gimbals. And they're used on a number of different unmanned aircraft systems, from helicopters to multi-rotors, octocopters, blimps, and there's a few full-size helicopters that use it as well. So,
and we're already focusing on what you actually have here. So now a lot of people are going to ask you, because they've been ruined by Brookstone. Yep. What makes this different than the little Parrot drone?
The sophistication, the autopilot system in it is much more sophisticated. You can carry a lot more weight with these systems.
The thing is, so you have a lot more control. You're able to have a lot more. I imagine you have a lot more. You can go a lot further, right?
Yep, the range is much further. I think with the Parrot, it's like just 20 or 30 meters or something like that. With these systems here, you can fly it out to its line of sight. So you can go 200-300 meters without having any problems, and then it depends on what sort of autopilot system you've got on it. So you can get an autopilot system which has just got position hold. It's got a compass on it and a GPS, so you can actually position hold at an altitude and a position, and depending on the wind, it'll hold it. It'll stay in that position. Then the next level is to have a waypoint system, where you can program a number of waypoints. It uses Google Earth 3D. You can go in there, you can load a number of waypoints, and then you can tell the system and it'll take off.
So you can go into, I want to make sure I get this all clear. You can go into Google Earth,
yep,
and you can tell it, I want you to take this, I want the helicopter to fly from here to here to here to here to here, and then it'll just go do that?
Correct. Yeah. And there's a number of different tools. So you have photogrammetry tools as well. So you can just drag your mouse over a certain area, select an area. You can tell it what sensor you're using, what size the focal length is on the camera, and the altitude you're going to fly at, and it'll automatically program the waypoints that it needs to fly, so that it covers each image is overlaid on each other, and then you can stitch them together.
Okay. All right. And what kind of cameras do you typically put on these types of helicopters?
Mainly a 5D is probably the most common, a 5D or the 550D, or I think the Americans call it a T2i, the Rebel T2i. The other really common camera is a GH2, Panasonic GH2, the NEX5 and the new NEX7. Get very good high-definition images from it.
Can you put something on as large as something like an FS100?
Yes, definitely. Some of the footage behind us is done with an FS100, as well as the Epic. The Epic this will carry an FS100, and the 8-rotor machine will carry an Epic.
And people are going to ask, and they're going to see this, and they're going to wonder, how much do these cost?
This helicopter here is run between $20,000 and $26,000 US. And again, the major price difference is the autopilot system on it.
Well, to put that in perspective, I've done a couple helicopter shoots, and for one day it cost $8,000. And that wasn't even a very expensive one.
No, that's right, and so that's the difference with these. They're much more cost effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it something that where are you guys based?
We're based in New Zealand, in windy Wellington. So a lot of our testing's done in the wind.
So the question is have these been used in any large movies in New Zealand?
No, they haven't. A lot of commercials, but we haven't used in the... I don't even know if Weta or Peter Jackson knows about us. It's
Hopefully Peter is watching.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. That's Photo Hire. Thank you very much, Kimberley.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for the opportunity.
This is Alex Lindsey at NAB 2012.
That is so cool. I want one of those. We should have one out here with a camera on it. That could be our jib, right? Very neat. Alex will be back. Lots more from the show floor. We are live at NAB 2012. Leo Laporte here. Joining us now from Viewcast at viewcast.com is Mike Galli. He's VP Marketing. Viewcast, it's funny, we were talking about Colleen Kelly because you work with her. Colleen, who does used to be our chief engineer here, does all the streaming, a lot of the streaming for Google right now and for YouTube. And, of course, they use Viewcast gear a lot. What is Viewcast? What does Viewcast do?
Well, Viewcast is a company that manufactures basically two lines of products. One is capture cards, and that's something that we're doing with Google.
For PCs?
PCs, yeah. Well, we have PCs and Linux drivers.
Okay.
So not Mac.
Not Mac, yeah.
And then, and the company's been around a long time. We're one of the original kind of founders of the streaming industry. Worked quite a bit with real networks in the early days. Capture cards have been used.
Move the mic a little closer, if you will, because it's kind of noisy background, and we want to hear every one of your pearls of wisdom. Yes.
Yeah. So the capture cards are
the Osprey
cards.
Yeah.
Really well known in the industry.
Yeah.
And just rock solid product, used for all kinds of application, from broadcasting to Google Hangouts.
When they do Hangouts, like when you've got President Obama in a Hangout, you're not going to just use a Logitech webcam.
No,
you're going to use good cameras, and you're going to pump them. You still need to pump it into PC because it has to use the Hangout software, but you're going to do it with a good camera and really good capture card, and you're going to use an Osprey for something like that.
We would want everybody to use Osprey capture cards for those high quality ones. And
you also do something that I'm kind of interested in, the Niagara. Tell me about that.
Well, the Niagara products came along after the capture cards. We had a lot of people that asked us to build basically a hardware version of a streaming encoder.
So you don't need the PC?
Well, people use PCs for different reasons, so there's still a need to use it for things like Hangouts.
Right.
But at the same time, there's people who want more of a dedicated streaming kind of a product.
Right.
And that kind of started the whole Niagara product line.
Right. So you have these are basically encoders.
Encoders, and now we're getting into transcoding as well.
Hardware transcoding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a relatively new thing for us. We've been mainly kind of focused on the live streaming. And then I think the other thing that's been a big thing for us is we're seeing people in the internet world who are now wanting to send video to things called television sets.
Yes, we are.
And that's a relatively new thing. We work with some products from people like Roku and can deliver video over the internet, provided the customers have sufficient bandwidth.
But I was wondering how they do that, because CBS News, PBS, CNN all have channels on the Roku box, but I'm sure they don't just plug the television into the Roku or onto the internet. They need to encode it and get it out in a real time and fast so that it can be played back on Roku. So they're using something like the Niagara or the Osprey to do that.
That company is using some Niagara products and has done those kinds of things. And there are people who, they have a Roku box. They hook it up to their internet connection in their home. And
that's what you're watching. You just don't know it. Yeah.
Right.
Wowza is one of the companies that I've always been really interested in. And Colleen keeps saying, you guys just should get a Wowza server. That is a neat thing, because something we could use, because you upload one stream to the Wowza server, it uses your hardware and then sends it out to a dozen endpoints.
Right, to Wowza. And so Wowza is also a good partner of ours. And we work with them pretty closely for either LAN applications or internet applications. So some of the CDNs out there actually have Wowza servers.
Oh, that's interesting. So at the endpoint. Yeah.
Correct. So and it has that functionality where it can actually more efficiently kind of dole out the different streams to different devices.
I would imagine a lot of companies now are doing their own internet broadcasting. They're looking for ways to do that kind of thing. And
the same thing. We've seen a big push from corporations, government agencies, high schools even.
Everybody's doing it.
Oh yeah, it's quite a change.
Everybody's a broadcaster, Alex. I love that.
Everybody can be. Churches, another strong demographic for us.
So is it effectively, in something like a Niagara, is it effectively a PC, a headless PC? I mean, do you use Intel processors, things like that inside? Or
We do. We do. Although we've been looking at utilizing other kind of technologies, DSPs.
Custom ASICs, things
custom
like that.
ASICs. Yeah. But the thing that's happening right now, just when you think everything's kind of settled, along come things like MPEG Dash, H.265 encoding.
That's good for you. Don't you understand that? That's good for you. The harder it gets, the more complicated encoding gets, the better it is for Viewcast.
Okay.
Because I got to come to you and say, there's 8 new codecs. What do I do?
In one sense, it's great for us. It's great for us that there's that kind of confusion, and
it's bad in general, though. I agree.
It's bad for the industry because people don't want to buy encoders that cost a lot of money. They want the encoder to cost as little as it can to do what it can.
They need a million different solutions, and I agree with you. Well, you do offer very low cost, not so low end Niagara, right? I mean, people with flash streaming, H.264 flash streaming.
We have a product that's a $3,000 list product that does just flash.
People can get right into it easily.
Very popular and very simple. You can set it up for one push button type of encoding.
A church would use something like that.
Churches use that, but it's funny. We have some churches. The big churches, they look like a broadcaster, and they use our high-end product.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do.
Yeah. So it really depends. The other thing we're seeing is the old service providers are now starting to get more active with the internet stuff. So we're seeing kind of that crossover. So now we got people, Comcast, AT&T coming to us and looking for solutions for how do we send video to things that are not TV sets.
Right. Right.
So they're interested in the Niagara product line for that kind of thing.
Sure, well, that's exactly what HBO Go does. HBO Go is no longer, it's for iPads, it's for computers, it's no longer just television sets.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're well positioned, Mike.
We think so.
It's only going to get bigger. Mike Galli, thank you for joining us from Viewcast, VIEWCAST.com. They're here on the show floor. Do you have new products you're showing here, or is this
We do. We have a new Osprey card that's pretty exciting. Allows people to stream video and computer graphics. So that could be PowerPoint slides. It could be gaming kind of applications. So, and I'm not, so much into gaming myself, but
I hear that's big with the kids.
I think it's big. Yeah, I hear it's bigger than.
I hear they're going somewhere. These gaming people.
Plastics. Yeah.
Thank you. It's great to see you, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Have a great show. We continue now with more from NAB. Alex Lindsey's in the field visiting Camargus. Alex?
This is Alex Lindsey, and I'm at Camargus. And Camargus, it's a startup, and what they have here is an array of cameras. Now, this seems, we literally just walked over because we saw an array of cameras and we knew that it must be cool. So what you have here is all of these cameras pointed in a slightly different direction and covering a different part of a scene. And now here's what this rig actually did. So if you look up at the screen here, what you're going to see is a soccer game. And what I can do is actually pan. Now, this was shot a long time ago, I imagine. I can also zoom in, zoom back. I can zoom in. And what's actually happening, if I back up a little bit, I'm just going to keep on backing up. And what you're going to see here is that all of these, it's basically a virtual environment that was stitched together from all these cameras. Whoops, and then I blew it. Whoa, there we go. So anyway, so here we go. So what you have here, what it's done is it's actually taken this entire array and it takes all those videos and stitches them back together. And what I'm able to do at that point is actually change that pan and tilt. So this is basically HD that's being fed back into a switching system or whatever. But they say, hey, if we want to pan over to something later, or even during the game, I can simply, without having a lot of, I can zoom in, see that on a black table here. It's really hard. So anyway, if we go in here, we can zoom in slowly. Here they go. Here comes the ball. I can follow the ball around and actually follow the entire game with one person looking at the entire piece. Now, I could do that pan and tilt later. I could do it after the show, after the event, or during the event. So it's a very, very interesting way to pool all this stuff together and create basically this virtual environment that I'm able to then pan and tilt later or during the game, but I'm not committing to anything. Everything is kind of set, and everything is still open to me at that point and down the road. So anyway, it is Camargus, and it's a slick little system that you'll probably see being used in the near future on some show in the United States.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you, Alex Lindsey. We'll send Alex to another booth. He's going booth to booth. I don't know how many vendors there are here at NAB, but Alex, we'll see them all by the end of the show. We also have Kirk Harnack and Scott Wilkinson out in the field right now, and they're gathering pieces for us. So we're doing it a little bit differently this year. Instead of having everybody come up to the booth, we're trying to get people up to the booth, but also get out into the field and let you get a sense of what it's like to just wander the show floor here. There's so much cool technology, and I understand that this is a show really kind of for high-end content creators, although I think a lot of internet broadcasters are interested in the things here. Blackmagic is showing products, switchers for instance, as little as $1,000, so it's something that everybody can get into. But what's cool is to see where technology is going, what broadcast technology is about to do, internet streaming technology is about to do. It's changing very rapidly, and this is a very important application of digital technology. So I hope you're enjoying our coverage of the NAB show. Mac Break Weekly is coming up at 11 o'clock, about an hour and 20 minutes from right now. That's 2 p.m. Eastern, 1800 UTC. Alex Lindsey will join us, Larry Jordan, our Final Cut expert, and Alan Tepper from the Pro Video Coalition, and we'll talk quite a bit at that time. Oh, we're getting some stuff here. In fact, this is perfect timing. I'm so pleased about this because I was just saying in the chat room to, let me see his name, Sir Woogie. Sir Woogie. He was saying, how are they getting this, what's their uplink from Las Vegas back to the TWiT Brick House? And we've used a lot of different technologies. This is something that a television broadcaster, when I was here with Tech TV, not here, but at CES at Comdex years gone by, with Tech TV, we'd have, it cost $1 million to do the production. We'd have a big truck out in the lot that had the switchers, the director, the technical director, the Chiron operator, the tape operators, the color shaders. There's 10 people in that truck. We've replaced all of that with the Tricaster 850 Extreme. That's doing everything that truck did, and it's doing it right over there with a severely underpaid single person named Alex Gumpel, who's doing an excellent job. All of that truck. But then what we would do in Tech TV days is that truck would then have a fiber optic link to a satellite farm just outside of town where we would beam it up to the satellite at great expense, $3,500 an hour, not including fiber costs, so that it'd get back to San Francisco so that they could then put it on the other satellite as part of the Tech TV broadcast. It was literally $1 million expenditure to do a trade show like this. We do it for a 20th of the cost. And one of the ways we're able to do this, to get out in the field, to cover stuff, to stream our content back, is with the LiveU. Joining me right now is Ken Zamkow, who's the Director of Sales and Marketing. Hi, Ken. Good to see you.
Hey, Leo. Good to see you,
He's back, our LiveU guy. We do the LiveU backpacks out in the field. When you watched us, for instance, wander the show floor yesterday, Scott and I wandered it in Home Theater Geeks with Brent By with the LiveU backpack on. And we were able to stream live, and it actually worked great. We're here not using 3G. We use 3G out in the field. Here we're using an Ethernet connection. It's pretty high speed. That's probably a 10 megabit connection. The LiveU does a great job of just scaling to use as much bandwidth as available. So the link that you're getting, there it is, coming off the back of the Tricaster. So the link that you're getting back at the Brick House using public internet, nothing special, not fiber, not a satellite farm, looks... It's HD. It's actually better quality than Tech TV got. And it's thanks to the LiveU that we're able to do that. So you have the old LiveU box, and next to it, so it's actually a great comparison. So in front of Ken, that silver thing in front of Ken there, that's the LiveU that Brent By's been carrying around on his back. It's like 25 pounds.
Actually, this is the updated version of the traditional backpack. This is the LU70 device.
Okay,
that,
it does look a little different. Yeah, what is new?
So, wow, we got so much news. So, let me see. So let's maybe start with the hardware updates that we have.
It was essentially a PC in there, right?
Yeah. Essentially, it's a PC with video inputs and a number of modems. So in
the 3G and 4G modems.
Exactly.
You have a bunch of card slots for those. I think up to 12.
It's anywhere between 6 and 14. Usually, by default, we use 6. We find that you don't necessarily need more than that.
Right.
But
and what it does is cool is the software bonds these modems. So I'm getting Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, 3G and 4G, different carriers, multiple cards for a single carrier, and then it's all bonded together into a stream that's high enough quality to send back HD. It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
in real time. That's what's really amazing. Yeah.
And so last year we showed the LU60. That's the version that you guys are very familiar with. You've used it, I would say, around the world probably.
Absolutely.
And
that's the other thing. It doesn't just work in the U.S. We have to have a special unit for Europe. We can use it everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when we first launched the LU60, it had our antenna that was really optimized for 3G. So inside this dome, what you see under this dome here, we have our own proprietary antenna that we designed to basically provide a stronger signal than you would get on your typical USB air card or a MiFi device and so on.
So there's a big antenna, an additional antenna.
This is really a big antenna underneath here.
Yeah.
And with the original antenna, it was really optimized for 3G because back then there weren't many LTE towers out there to optimize for. Right. And now with this new antenna that we're showing here at NAB, this is also optimized for LTE and also additional gain for 3G, so that even when you are in more congested areas or farther away from a tower, our antenna is more likely to get signal than your typical 3G smartphone or 4G smartphone, your typical USB air card or MiFi, and so on.
This is a perfect example. I mean, we're in as challenging an environment as you can get. There's just a bunch of geeky engineers here, all of whom are using LTE and 3G constantly. Yeah. And yet we were able to, and it was noticeably better this year, we were able to wander down into the bowels of this steel building and get a very high-quality signal out of the pack this year.
And I think that's all part of kind of our experience learning more how to optimize the signal with our antenna, how our algorithm works in balancing the traffic and so on. So that's one big news that we're announcing. We also, on this unit, have a new processor that allows us to do better encoding. So we actually support 422 colors now.
What?
So
No. Over 3G and 4G?
3G and 4G. Yep.
Oh, no. Wow. That's pretty high quality. Yeah. That's amazing. Now, next to that, on your right, is something that we played with at CES. It was like really early beta at the time. Mm-hmm. This is the new little lightweight. Look how small that is. You can keep that on your hip.
Yeah.
What is? Tell us about this.
So this is the LU40. If the LU70 series is our flagship product, the LU40 we find is just a more portable and easier way to transmit. It doesn't have the same kind of antenna, doesn't have the same number of modems. It only has between 4 and 6 modems. But we think that for most functions, it's so easy to walk around with this that we feel that there's room for both of them. You'll take the LU60 for the more maybe heavily trafficked areas or places that maybe you don't have great 4G, but the LU40 can be on daily use for just a whole variety of functions, and organizations that typically don't do live video can start doing live video.
Right.
Whether it's for an enterprise function, if you need an engineer in one place to have remote eyes in another location, or if you have a brand that's launching a new product and wants to show it to people, or basically a sports franchise that wants to communicate directly with its fans. So just a variety of uses.
So you have the new LU60, which I would like to trade in for and then the new little
LU40.
LU40, the hip pack. Very exciting.
And we also have our new software version, version 6. And
software only?
Software update for the existing pack. So not just the new hardware, but a new software version as well.
We got to get the upgrade here.
But and you will. The upgrade starts shipping in May.
Okay, good.
And they'll do a number of things. So one, we've automated the process. So if until now you had a lot of settings that you could choose from, and you guys are very technical, so we
figured it out.
Yeah, you like playing with all the settings.
In fact, we probably played with it a little too much, but okay.
But we recognize that there are users who just want to push a button and go live, and so we've automated everything. The resolutions are now automatic. You just push the on button and the picture shows up, so that's a big enhancement in our software. We also now can turn this unit into a hotspot. So you can basically activate it as a hotspot. When you're not transmitting, if you have your laptop or your tablet, you can just browse the web through your LiveU unit.
And just so people understand, it was the LiveU that made it possible for me to set the world record for longest live crowd surfing.
Yep.
And I was wearing the big backpack at the Dignation broadcast at a South by Southwest a couple of years ago when I leapt into the crowd, and that thing didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm holding my own camera, holding a microphone, wearing LiveU, the LiveU backpack, and out there, let me jump ahead so you can see this if you're watching at video. This is, by the way, Kevin and Alex persuading me that this would be a good idea. Big mistake. But you know what? I survived. I didn't know how dangerous it was when I did it.
Right.
And now that I've done it, I'm very happy that I've done it.
And people still bring it up. You know, sometimes they swing by our booth and go, "Oh yeah, that's the fact that Leo
that was the LiveU." And look at this. I mean, the quality is amazing. It's just kind of hard to believe what a great job that LiveU does, and we are very grateful. You can't tell because I'm holding the camera, but you can't tell. But I am. There's the backpack behind me. You can kind of see it. I am being surfed on the crowd with the LiveU. Thank you so much for making that possible, Ken.
Cool. Thanks, Leo.
Great to see you.
Right,
and have a great show at
NAB
2012.
All right,
Ken Zamkow,
Thanks,
who's Director of Sales and Marketing at LiveU. We love the LiveU. One of the best things about being a TWiT is that we get to push the envelope. We get to take these new technologies before anybody else dares use them. It's one of these reasons people like Newtek and LiveU like us, because we say, yeah, well, sure, we'll try it. We'll try anything. And it's so much fun when it works, especially. It's just really a great feeling to be able to do things that couldn't be done before at the price that we do. And so I'm really grateful, Ken, and to everybody at LiveU for making that possible. Coming up, we're going to go back in the field with Mr. Alexander Lindsey. The man is an animal. He is a beast. He is back in the field. He's going to talk to a company called K-Tek in just a second. Before we do that, though, I would like to talk a little bit about our friends at Pond 5. Oh, I love Pond 5. They're here. You know, they've got a little beer garden. And the reason they're here is because most of the people who come to NAB, this is something we learned about NAB, it's only 25% broadcasters. The name is a misnomer. It's content creators, filmmakers, broadcasters, internet broadcasters, streamers, people who shoot video for a living, take pictures for a living. It's all kinds of content creators. And Pond 5 wants to be well known to these guys because they are literally the world's stock media marketplace. And if you're a creator, they want to know you because they will let you they're a great place for creators to sell stock photos, sound effects, After Effects projects, video, and more. So they've got a little beer garden from 3 to 6 every afternoon. Pond 5 is serving beer to content creators and encouraging them to play with them. One of the nice things about Pond 5, if you are a content creator, you set your own price, and you get industry-leading royalties on every sale. So you're going to make more money. You're going to have great exposure. The fact that they're buying advertising here gives you some sense of that. Look what they've got on Pond 5. 1 million video clips, 13,000 new ones this week. This outreach is working. 7.6 million photos, 680,000 illustrations, 76,000 music tracks, 243,000 sound effects. And the prices start low, $5 for stock video and music, $2 for sound effects. So everybody can afford to use really great quality footage, sound effects, music in their videos. They have let me go, let's see, let's go to the photo. Now let's go to the video area. So here's all the categories. We'll go to technology. And let's say you want to insert a video clip into your next YouTube production of a virtual keyboard. Just go to the section. You can search, but you can also just browse. And they've got a great thumbnail browser that lets you look at the video as you surf around and see what you're going to get. And imagine adding this to your next presentation or next PowerPoint or next YouTube video. So I want you to go to pond5.com. Now get ready for this. Here's the come on. Does it say dub on the lower third? Okay. We found out yesterday you have to type it exactly right. It's www.pond5.com/TWiT. So make sure you use the www. And when you do that, we've got a special area. Pond 5 has arranged this just for the NAB show with 50 free stock media files. Oh, it's slow. It's slow. Everybody's going there. Okay, you might have to wait till after the commercial. It works, though. I swear. We brought it down yesterday, too. Okay. I don't blame you, because this is a great deal. 50, you get video, you get sound effects, you get music. I got to get in there and download them, too, because, you never know when you're going to need this stuff. Pond 5. It's not that they don't have DNS skills. It's just that there's so many people going there right now that we've brought the site down once again. So wait a little later and do this. www.pond5.com/twit. All kinds of great stock art, photos, videos, sound effects, and more. And if you're at NAB, go to booth SL7409 from 3 to 6 p.m. and have a beer on Pond 5. There, it came up finally. Set your creativity free with 50 stock media files. Whoops. It went back. Those are all free. I'll try one more time. We'll see if I can get back there. I think I pushed the back button. That's what happened. Yeah, there it is. And just add them to your cart and click checkout. So actually what's nice is you get an experience of what it's like to buy from Pond 5. And there's great stuff. I think just this end title alone, 1080p for the end. You can make your own silent film. Look at this. How about this? The growing global network. Realistic by base visuals. See, that would be so useful for a keynote presentation talking about the growth of our company worldwide. Look at that. Free. Pond5.com. And we thank them so much for their support of our NAB coverage. We've got some great sponsors at NAB today and this week, which is nice because, yeah, it's not $1 million to do this, but it's I guess a little bit. Get everybody out here. Alex Lindsey alone in cups of Starbucks venti lattes is putting me out of business. This guy is the Energizer Bunny. He's out now at the K-Tek booth. Alex?
Hi, this is Alex Lindsey, and I'm at K-Tek with Brenda Parker. Hi, Brenda.
Alex. Hi, Alex.
And now, for the most part, K-Tek is really known for boom poles, right?
Yeah, we've been around 16 years. We make graphite boom poles that go out to 20 feet that you can put a microphone on the end of. We make shock mounts, windscreens, anything that goes around a microphone.
How did you guys get into that?
Well, my father started the company, and he was involved in time code, and he was involved in Nagra. If you guys remember that, they used to have, tape.
I've heard about that.
Yes, yeah.
It was like magnetic tape, right?
Yeah, I kind of grew up with that. So my father introduced the K-Tek boom pole 16 years ago. He won an Academy Technical Achievement Award for it, and boy, that's a lot to say.
So now you started with boom poles, and you've got lots of different ones. So these are different lengths, different styles, different makes. So as far as materials, what makes a great boom pole?
What makes a great boom pole is basically getting the pole for what your need is. So we have short poles, long poles. We have graphite, so we have extremely lightweight poles. You don't want to carry anything over your head that's really heavy for a long time. We have cabled poles. We have it's really what you need. So if you're doing interviews, or if you're on a sound stage and you need a 20-foot pole, we have that option for you.
Now you've moved on from you're not just doing boom poles anymore.
No, we've basically taken the microphone and anything that goes around a microphone. So we've got shock mounts, windscreens, ways of mounting microphones to your cameras, which has led us back to the camera world, because we're finding that people are wanting to mount cameras on top of the ends of our poles. So naturally, why not go with that? And we came out with a bunch of tadpoles, which is a full line of small boom poles with mini ball heads on the top. I will show you these.
All right, okay, let's take a look at this. I actually have one.
Well, that's good.
I know, I love it.
All right, we have this. This is our mini tadpole, which is new this year. What's wonderful about this is it has the mini ball head on the end. It has a thread on the bottom. And it has a beautiful K-Tek iPhone case on the top, which is a tripod mount case with two mounting points on it.
So you got, and those are standard quarter 20 mounting points for your standard tripod.
Absolutely, and they're standard for our tadpoles.
Right. But they would work with any tripod, pretty much, that's handling a quarter 20 input.
Yes, you can put them on a tripod or any standard equipment that you would use.
And then you've got longer ones. I have a longer one here, so you can see. Now, this is what I'm excited about. And I haven't really gotten to use it, but here you can see us here. There we are. And so what I'm planning to do, once I get my audio stuff sorted out, is do the interview where I can do this.
This is a good rehearsal then.
This is the rehearsal. And so that I can just keep on talking.
And then I can talk to you about, oh, look at that. That's nice.
And so now you're really talking about, just a one-man show.
That makes sense.
And then you can show the rest of NAB and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of fun to be had there. So anyway, the big thing that I have been looking for something like this for years. So every event I go to one of them, and they're always, they have like little touristy ones that like it's a touristy thing, but it's all made of plastic, and it never stays together, and it never feels like your phone really should be that far out. And so what I was so excited about when I saw this tadpole was that finally there is a production-ready version for my iPhone. I know that sounds silly.
No, it doesn't sound silly. We make poles. That's what we've been doing for 16 years. So it's natural for us to make a pole for the iPhone. That's what we do. The iPhone case is beautiful. We've made that. It's machined aluminum, made in the USA. It's natural for us to make as well.
Thank you so much, Brenda.
You're welcome, Alex.
I'm Alex Lindsey, and this is NAB 2012.
I'm actually on the site about to order a tadpole. That's exactly what I need. And now our guest said, but you know what they need now is one for the iPad. I don't know if it might be a little, your arm might start shaking a little bit. We're live from NAB 2012, having a great time. Alex Lindsey is just like a kid in a candy store, isn't he? I mean, this is for him. All of this stuff is so great. He's still out there. We're going to get more field pieces from him from the show floor in just a little bit. But we're also bringing up to our booth, our beautiful Sky booth here in the South Hall. We got a great view, and we're bringing great people up here, too, to meet. Right now, Michael Chennery and Geoffrey Tully from THX are here. And we certainly know THX for the sound, but THX also does video. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Jeff, tell me, what you're the technology development director at THX. Has THX always... I guess THX is really more than just sound. It's the entire experience, isn't it?
Right, and it always has been, actually.
Yeah, that was George Lucas's idea, in fact, was to certify theaters so that they'd play his darn movies back right.
Well, played it back the way that he produced them.
Right.
Getting
right.
the creative intent all the way to the consumer, and
right.
that is what this company does today. And every piece of technology that we touch, it's about getting a faithful delivery of the consumer, of the creative intent to the consumer.
Yeah. We all, I think, we think of THX as sound because we see that THX sound and the THX thing at the beginning of the movies, and that's what people think of. And of course, you have THX certified gear for the home enthusiast as well.
Yes.
Do you do THX video for home, or is it only for business? It's for broadcast. Do you do THX stuff for?
Well, yes, we do. We have a color management product which is used from the professional market.
Right.
CineSpace, THX CineSpace.
Oh yeah, CineSpace, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the idea of CineSpace is to enable artists to be able to share their ideas collaboratively. When they make a decision artistically, it can be shared with other artists because everyone's looking at the same thing. So it brings everyone's computer displays to a common point, whether that's a broadcast standard, emulating a film output. To a film stock, digital theatre, or whatever the final destination for the material may be.
To relate it to what most of us have experienced, it's that issue when you take a picture of printing it out so that it looks like the picture that you saw. Well, you got to do that with video and film as well, right?
Exactly.
And you're working in different color spaces, and everybody's working differently. So to match that up is critical. Otherwise, Jar Jar Binks won't be exactly the right shade of green, and everybody's going to be unhappy.
Exactly.
So this is post-production standard.
Yes. Yeah. So people doing visual effects, animation, editing, digital intermediate, the whole range of post-production, also production on set as well. It's important when checking material that's coming off the camera to make sure that you're looking at it in a calibrated way, or a way that you can make a valid judgment of the data that's being captured.
I know, in fact, that THX certifies home theater installers, home theater calibrators, and so forth. So they're also using similar technology to get your television to look the right colors and things like that?
Yes, a similar technology. Obviously, television.
They're not using CineSpace, obviously. I mean,
no, CineSpace is more of a LUT-based solution using lookup tables. But we have other techniques we can use on devices where a lookup table is not being used to dial them in, I guess, to be as close as possible to what the original artist was looking at.
Right.
Yeah, one of the elements that's important for the home viewer is that by using the CineSpace technology in creation, for example, of Blu-ray discs or other content that's going to be distributed, in the post-production area, you want to make sure that you're making it look like Rec 709, the correct color space being used, so that everyone who's collaborating on the work makes a true correct.
It has to be end-to-end. Yeah. So the original product is correctly color-corrected, going all the way out to the television I'm watching at home. You guys recently worked with Lucas on the Blu-ray, Star Wars Blu-ray, to get that to look exactly. It was, in fact, the first THX Media Director-enabled Blu-ray. What is Media Director?
Media Director is the technology that we've developed to send information about the content from that post-production environment where we've created it carefully and want it to look a particular way. Send some information in along with the content to the home, whether it's on a Blu-ray disc, as Star Wars and now Red Tails, the current release coming. Get that information into the devices in the living room so that they can go into the correct playback settings, and to the degree that your home system supports it, show it as much like it was in that post environment as possible. So that, again, delivering that artist's intent all the way to the living room.
That's great. Do I need to use a THX certified installer to get that working, or can I do some of that myself? Do you have a way to do that myself?
Kind of the same way that you do it now. If you have a high-end, sophisticated system, you probably want an installer to come in and get it right the first time. Where Media Director fits in is that once you've done that, you want to kind of keep it in that position. But as you're changing content from your Blu-ray disc to your DVD or your streaming content, there may be different settings in the devices that are more appropriate to play it back. It would be nicer if they went to those playback settings automatically, rather than you fiddling with the remote and possibly taking your system out of calibration. And that's what Media Director is about. It's that information with content that allows that automatic selection of appropriate playback settings in the living room.
So this would be built into my television set?
Yes.
Yeah. So you want to look for Media Director in a... What brands are using you so far?
We're showing here a demonstration that Sharp has in an Elite TV at CES.
That Sharp Elite is the best TV going right now. They got the Pioneer Elite team to work with them. And it's expensive, but that has will that have Media Director in it?
The next generation that they're shipping, they're working on it, but they did work with us to allow us to show this in the demo. And
it's a fantastic display, and so having that to make sure that it can give you exactly the right colors and the right...
Well, and it's kind of fun, too, to play around with it, put it in the wrong settings and show what things can look right.
It can be bad.
and then show it coming to the right setting when you put Media Director-enabled content like Star Wars in there, that you know that creative intent is going to be experienced by the consumer.
And you do the same thing for audio. There's THX-certified audio, 5.1 surround, and all of that. So that you're really getting... It's interesting because you can now really get a THX-certified theater in your home.
Yes.
Effectively, can't you?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And have a THX certified installer, make sure that it looks right.
Yes, and you're one of the two groups that certify installers that teach them. Our Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy, has gone through the THX training. In fact, I think he had a THX certified car that he was driving around. You guys do car audio as well, don't you? Yeah, now that's what I want. That sounds pretty good.
That's good, and the familiar deep note with the THX logo is
in the car.
In the car,
when you turn it on,
I think you have to push a button.
I want it to. When I turn on the car, I want it to go. The driver is listening. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be awesome? So people, there it's consumer and professional. You're here showing both on the trade show floor, and I'm just thrilled to know that. That end-to-end THX is helping make this look better and better and better. And I really appreciate you spending some time with us to talk a little bit about it.
Glad to do it.
People can find out more at thx.com. George doesn't still own the company. Did he spin it off, or is it still...
It's privately held.
It's privately held now, yeah.
But the inspiration that he started it with is a part of the whole
He's there,
thing.
heart and soul. It's great. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Geoffrey Tully, Technology Development Director, and Michael Chennery, Senior Color Scientist. That's a fascinating area. To be in general.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so much going on, and it's an area which is so rapidly changing that it's...
because it went from stills and from magazines and Pantone colors. Now we're looking at video, and it's all in the head.
Yes.
It's psycho... I don't know what you call it. It's not psychoacoustics, psychocoloristics.
Well, exactly. And it's not just the images you're looking at. It's also the environment that you're looking at them in and what you've been looking at previously. A whole lot of factors come into play.
Right.
So,
Scott has a 50% gray studio to look at TVs because, you don't want the walls to change what you're seeing.
No, exactly.
It's a fascinating field.
So, and with all the
expansion in the number of capture devices, all the materials coming in a whole range of different color spaces. We're going out now to different number of different spaces, so you really need to manage the color through the whole pipeline.
Right, right. And that's challenging because, you don't really, some of these displays, you're going from an iPad to an Android device. If you're lucky, you're on a Sharp Elite TV. But it's really quite a wide range of capabilities, color gamuts and so forth, and you've got to make it work as best you can.
Exactly, and there's one thing is to create some material knowing that the end user is going to view it on a calibrated display.
Right.
But there's also, you have to be aware that people are going to look at it on a wide range of different devices. So.
It may not be so color calibrated.
That's right.
Well, thank you, both of you. I really appreciate it. Michael and Geoffrey from THX for the work you do to make it all sound and look fantastic. I really appreciate it. Are you in Ford vehicles? Are you going to be in Ford vehicles for the automotive stuff, or is it aftermarket, the automotive sound stuff? Do you know? I'm just about to do a Ford ad. I'm just wondering.
The certified system is in Ford's.
It is in Ford's.
Yes, it is.
What a
good segue.
I took a little chance. I happened to. I thought it might be. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See, those folks at Ford, they care about your ears, and if there were a TV in a car, they'd be THX certified as well. I don't think that's coming anytime. Well, maybe it is actually. Come to think of it, in the backs of the seats, sure they are. Ford, of course, does that great Ford Sync with AppLink. We've talked about that before. These guys care about bringing 21st century technology into the car without compromising your safety. And I think that's really important to underscore. It's not just getting the latest and greatest in there, but it's also making sure you keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, you're focused on what you're doing. And the folks at Ford have done that with Ford Sync. It means you can use your voice to control everything in the car. No more looking down at a screen, fiddling the dials. You keep your hands on the wheel, the eyes on the road. You say things like, call home, give me directions to the nearest In-N-Out burger, play a Patty Page song right now. But you can also control the apps on your phone now with this new AppLink. It's an API for app developers on Apple, Android, Windows phones that let them make applications that sync control. So when you get in the car and you plug in your phone to the USB port that all sync vehicles have, or you use the Bluetooth, when you press the button, now you can say things like, Pandora, play my Rolling Stones station. Thumbs up to that song, thumbs down to that song. They've got iHeartRadio, so you can listen to actual terrestrial radio stations from all over the country in the iHeartRadio app. The Thumb Play service means you can save stations, you can thumbs up or thumbs down on songs, you can save songs for later purchase. They've also got NPR apps, they've got Stitcher, Slacker Radio. I mentioned Pandora, what else? OpenBeak. They've even got sync destinations so that you can do turn-by-turn directions and navigation through your phone in your car, all without taking your hands off the wheel or your eyes off the road. Really remarkable stuff. You can find out more by going to Ford.com/technology or visiting a Ford dealer and driving one near you. Just make sure when you do that, you say, hey, I want to try out Sync AppLink. I brought my smartphone. I've got the Pandora app on here. Can you help me? And they'll set it up for you so you can get an experience of it. Drive one today at a Ford dealer near you. We thank Ford for their support. And yes, THX certified sound in the car. Okay. I had a feeling they might have that. Yeah, where is In-N-Out? Navigate me to the nearest In-N-Out, please. We are here on the show floor live at NAB. The Energizer Bunny himself, Alex Lindsey, is out there somewhere. He's talking to Veroom. Alex?
Hi, this is Alex Lindsey, and I'm at Veroom. And so this is probably one of the coolest gearheads I've ever seen. Now, a lot of us, you probably don't know what a gearhead is for a lot of you, but what a gearhead is, you have a fluid head. That's the one you normally see with a handle sticking out. And then you have ball heads and all kinds of fixed heads. And a gearhead is something that typically, you simply, as I turn this gear, you'll see the camera up here. So I'm able to control this very, very specifically. And what's important here is by doing this as an operator, when you're actually using that, and this does take a lot of practice to get good at, you're actually able to get very, very smooth pans, very, very smooth tilts, and you have a lot of control. Now, this controller will also control, I can control my zoom. I can also control my focus here. So I can have full control over the camera from this remote unit. Now, typically, this whole gear head is all underneath the camera, and it's this big, huge, honking system. But instead, this is all set up remotely so that I can put this wherever I want to be, and I can be over here having that control. And a lot of times that can be really, really useful in an event production or even film production. Now, this is just one version of this. Another approach to this, of course, is the remote control that you might see here. This is another variant of that same thing, but it's on the end of a jib. So what you can see up here, I'm going to stop this here. And so what you can see is I'm controlling that from here. And so now what I'm able to do is I'm able to actually move this jib. And so I can do, this is how you get these huge shots that you see in a TV or a movie, where I'm actually able to, bring my camera up, and at the same time I can be rotating it around and building that shot. And I have a lot of respect for jib operators. I'm obviously not a jib operator, but this is how a lot of the big shots that you see in movies or TV are put together. And so this is a once again, this is the jib. This is the Cinema Pro Junior. That's the head and console here, and this is called the snap crane. And this is kind of a medium-sized jib. After that they start really starting to talk about them as cranes or giant or very large jibs, the motorized cranes, and then you have the big jibs. There's another one right here, and they can also get very small, like the one in my studio. So anyway, once again, this is Alex Lindsey, this is Veracam, and this is NAB 2012.
He's starting to fade. Even if you are not a broadcaster or doing this kind of thing, I hope you're enjoying it. It's just kind of fun, isn't it, to see what technologies are used in television productions and movie productions everywhere. This is all stuff that is used every day in the stuff that you and I consume at home, and I hope you're enjoying it. I know it's probably not something, nobody's ever going to buy a gearhead, or many of you are not going to ever buy a gearhead. I don't think I'm buying a gearhead. Those things are expensive, but still kind of cool to find out all about it. We are going to continue here until for another about 40 minutes, I think, until 11 a.m. when we're going to do Mac Break Weekly. Alex will come up. Poor guy, exhausted, drained, but we're going to make him do another show, Mac Break Weekly. We have joining us Larry Jordan, who is the expert on Final Cut, and Alan Tepper, who will join us from the Pro Video Coalition. And unfortunately, I met somebody yesterday, and I would love to get him up. He's going to be, I think, doing a panel at that time. I asked him to join us on Mac Break Weekly, and he couldn't. But he was talking, and I'll mention this in Mac Break Weekly, he was talking about the fact that this was the guy who introduced Final Cut Pro, really, to Hollywood. Everybody in Hollywood was using Avid at the time, and he got them, many of them, to switch to Final Cut for editing television shows and movies. He himself does a great many cable shows using Final Cut. And he was telling me that Apple, with the new Final Cut 10 and kind of the slow updates on the Mac Pro, have alienated much of the pro editing community in Hollywood. And he said everybody's going back to Avid, and Apple is a four-letter word more and more in television and movie production in Hollywood. And that was kind of a disappointing thing to hear, but I'm truthfully not very surprised. Even we started looking at Adobe Premiere and other solutions at the Brick House because Final Cut Pro 10 was so stripped down it didn't do a couple of the key things we needed, and we don't really do all that much. I can only imagine what it's like in Hollywood. But we'll talk about that and much more 11 o'clock today. This evening, I am going to be doing a panel. I cannot wait, on the future of TV, and I'm just going to sit back and listen because we have some truly incredible people joining us. This is being put together by Newtek. I did it last year. It's called Broadcast Minds. And we will be streaming it, so you don't have to be in Vegas, although if you're in Vegas, you should go to the Newtek site and see if you can get tickets. Look at the panelists. Jeff Jacobs, who's Senior Vice President, Planning and Strategy and Operations for MTV. Put MTV on the Internet. Bill Chapman from Turner Broadcasting. Jeff Hawley, who's doing a kind of interesting thing with Yamaha Corporation. They're streaming so much of their stuff now, not as broadcasters, but to Yamaha customers. And then, of course, the legend, and everybody knows him, Kevin Pollak, who hosts Kevin Pollak's chat show, but has in every movie that everybody loves, including The Usual Suspects and more. He does an internet show called the Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. So we'll talk with these great people, and we'll be broadcasting that 6 to 8 p.m. tonight for that panel discussion. And you've got a front row seat thanks to the folks at Newtek. So that'll be live this evening. So we're going to continue with our live coverage throughout Thursday morning. So all day today, all day tomorrow, and Thursday morning. After Mac Break Weekly, though, we will take it back to the Brickhouse studio for TWiT Photo and Tech News today. Then back here for Ham Nation. I think we're doing Ham Nation this afternoon, and then to the Newtek event. So there's quite a few good men. That's right. Isn't he the opposing attorney in A Few Good Men? He was so good in that. Love him. Should be really, really fun. All right, I think Alex is repositioned. When we started, we don't use teleprompters. I don't like teleprompters. I feel like using a teleprompter kind of disconnects you from your audience. But see, I can talk for hours without a script, without a teleprompter, as you might have noticed. But there are times when a teleprompter really is critical in a studio, and we've actually purchased teleprompters for the Brick House. We did it for Game On, but we use it for other things, like when you need to do a commercial or a promo and you want to do it quick and you don't want to memorize a script. There's nothing like having a teleprompter. So Alex Lindsey, we got ours from the Prompter People, and we sent Alex Lindsey over to the Prompter People booth to find out what they've got up their sleeves. Alex?
This is Alex Lindsey, and we're here at Prompter People. Now, what they do, of course, is make teleprompters. Now, if you're wondering how those folks on TV do such a great job of remembering all their lines, this is how they do it. So what you have here, it's a pretty simple technology. All you have here is a silvered glass that is exactly 45 degrees from your monitor. And this can be any monitor. They have a monitor that comes with it, but we've built our own, actually. And so this glass, basically angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. So it pops up and it comes straight out as long as it's at 45 degrees. So this case will hold it. Now, it is important to keep it black on the outside, to keep it nice and dark. So there's kind of a felt that goes around your camera. And that's pretty much all there is to a teleprompter. They have a smaller version here for your iPad. So you can actually pop your iPad into here and then put your camera back here. So if you're looking for kind of a miniaturization of it, that's possible. Of course, if you want to go the other direction, you have the Mondo prompter. Now, this Mondo prompter, of course, is about almost the biggest teleprompter that I've ever seen. So it's close to it. And so, again, same principle. It's just a lot bigger. So you have a nice big 46-inch monitor with a big mirror that is at a 45-degree angle. And now you're able to see this. Now, this isn't just useful for remembering your lines and everything else. It's also great for an eye-to-eye conversation if you're doing some kind of conferencing or webcasting or so on and so forth. If you want to look right into the camera, this is a great way to kind of create that environment for the participants. Now, also, you're probably wondering with the when the president is talking, you're probably wondering, how does he do it? What does that little piece of glass do? Well, if you get just the right angle here, you'll see how this works. So actually all this is the simplest version of a teleprompter, and all you have here is a simple piece of glass that is reflecting the text from below. So it is it really shows you how simple the process actually is. Now here you can see a RoboPrompter. This has a robotic camera built into it, again for teleconferencing, schools, and so on and so forth. You can kind of piece that all together. Of course, there would normally be a piece of glass in here. So that's pretty much it. So that's how a teleprompter works. There's a couple different options for the teleprompter. And this is Prompter People. I'm Alex Lindsey. This is NAB 2012.
There you go. That's how it works. That's how a prompter works. For a long time, I had no idea what that tilted glass was. That's all it is. So thank you, Mick. Mick says there are a lot of people who are not broadcasters but are enjoying the podcasts and broadcasts this week. We will do a special TWiT special of all of this, including the Broadcast Minds events tonight. So if you can't watch live, don't worry. Everything will be available at twit.tv/specials. Prompterpeople.com. Thank you, Eric Duckman. Somebody said in the chat room, Leo doesn't need a prompter. He's got the chat room. That's right. I'm looking at my camera right now. I'm looking at the chat room right now. You can't tell. I could just read the chat room. So you guys tell me exactly what to say, and I'll say it. Just type right into the chat room and tell me exactly what to say. My Gmail is working. Watching TWiT live. I didn't get much from it. Get so much out of this. Thanks. Stay classy, Sandy. No, wait a minute. Somebody was wondering if Alex is live. He's not. We actually, I'll explain how this works, a little behind-the-scenes stuff as we get ready for the next Alex piece. When we first started to do these live trade show coverage, you might remember, I think probably the first one was that one where you saw the crowd surfing with me with a LiveU backpack. I went around with a camera on a monopod, a microphone, a LiveU backpack. I wore the whole thing. I'd point the camera at myself and interview people. That was the original trade show coverage from TWiT because it was easy, cheap, inexpensive, and there was just me. But as we've evolved, and we want to really, our goal is to bring you the best experience as if you're at the trade show. And in order to do that, having one guy with a monopod and a camera really probably was a little limiting. So we decided, well, what we'd like to do is to go out on the floor and take you around on the floor. And initially we did use the LiveU backpack to do that. And it worked. The problem is this is such a challenging environment. And actually it worked really well yesterday. So I think LiveU, as they've made improvements, have solved this. But as of a couple of years ago when we did this at CES, first Colleen made us a LiveU kind of device that she built herself out of plexiglass. Then we found LiveU started using their stuff. But it just was inconsistent out in the field. And it had one real drawback. Because the encoding took maybe 10 or 15 or 20 seconds, I couldn't converse with the person in the field anyway. And that's really why you would want to do that live. So I could say, well, Alex, tell me a little more about that. We couldn't do that anyway because there was such a lag. And we had to go through a very elaborate process of queuing 20 seconds ahead of time when he was about to finish speaking, etc. So I said, look, let's not try to do it live from the field. Just go out there, record them, and then have a courier run the card up to Alex Gumpel at the Tricaster, and we'll play it back. It's close to live. It's a few minutes later, but that way you get full quality. You get the best quality. But we can't talk back and forth anyway, so we're really not losing anything. So these aren't live. They're, I don't know, live to compact flash, something like that. But Alex Gumpel, thank you very much. He's doing a great job at the board. Karsten Bondi is our producer in the field, or here actually on the in the Sky booth today and yesterday. My old puppeteer from the days of the site, and Dev Nolan. It's been great working with Karsten once again. And we have some great people in the field. Brent By, our camera operator, who does wear that LiveU backpack a lot, and Ryan, who's here on the lights. I don't know what Ryan's last name is, but Marsh. Ryan Marsh, thank you, who's also working on our lights. We have 2 gaffers this year. Ryan's stuffing his face right now, so I won't introduce him. But I think we're having a great time, and I think that we've done the best job yet as we get better and better at doing this. If you are in Las Vegas for the next day or so, do come by. We'd love to see you. All you have to do is go to the NAB site and use the offer code TWiT. You can get free passes to the NAB show. Then we're in the South Hall, first floor. Just come in the door, turn left as you come in the door on the first floor of the South Hall, and I'll wave at you as you walk in, because I'm right here. Now, back to the field we go. Alex Lindsey.
Hi, this is Alex Lindsey at DSC Labs, and I'm here with Matthew Corley, and he's going to talk a little bit about measurement charts. So this is the classic Cameline.
Right. Yeah, this is the Chroma de Monde series of charts. This is a Chroma de Monde 28R. This chart's been designed basically to represent Rec 709 colorimetry for matching multiple cameras, setting up your camera to a international broadcast standard. And
can you explain to people what Rec 709 is?
Right, Rec 709 is basically a group of parameters that lay out the different standards, such as color reproduction, I think frame rate, basically a bunch of broadcast standards that are used to standardize
and basically say this is going to be this is what all the cameras should work. This is the color space that it should exist in. This is how it should be represented across the gamma.
Right, exactly. So it's basically giving broadcasters something to standardize to, so that when you're jumping around between channels, you're not seeing completely different images, and things are nice and consistent. So
and pretty much almost every large set that I work on, including our set, has one of these charts that usually all the cameras start pointing to before we take them out into the field.
Right, yeah. Most of the major broadcasters, most of the major networks in North America, and now we've gotten pretty broad acceptance around the world, are standardizing to this chart and this product.
Now, what does this all mean?
Okay, all right, so I can break it down really quickly. This chart in particular, it's available in a range of different formats, but this model is available with 24 colors plus 4 skin tone chips, okay, for checking and verifying that your talent's skin tones are reproducing accurately. And then it's got...
These are the skin tone chips right here, right?
Right, yeah. So these 4 chips are the skin tone chips, and then you have your 6 primary colors. Your primaries are going to show up if you're using a vector scope to set up your camera. Your primaries are going to fall into the boxes. And then you've got, in addition on this chart, the 3 intermediate colors that fall between the primaries that give you a little bit more information about your camera's color space.
And a lot of times you'll get the camera in there and you really know that something's been skewed because everything's all twisted or turned, and that's when you really know you're going to have to realign all those pieces.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it gives you a very clear image if you're using a vector scope of what your camera's color space looks like. You can see where you need to go and you can make those changes really fast.
Now, also here, these are the trumpets. Is that right? That's what we call them?
Right. Yes. Yeah. These are the resolution trumpets. These are an optional feature on the Chroma Demon. You can get them as an upgrade. You've got horizontal resolution trumpets going up to 800 lines per pixel height, and then the same in the vertical.
So this and what's funny is a lot of times we use these to measure even our little cameras. So if someone says, okay, we want to use a little handy cams or something like that, we'll take out we've taken out a whole slew of handy cams and put them in there and check them against the resolution. Both this chart and another chart that we'll take a look at a little bit later. Right. Now you've got a lot of other ways of measuring. Is this the one you started with?
Yeah. This is basically what a lot of our other color charts are built off of. So we also have charts for 3D. We have charts for digital cinema. We go all across the board, but we started off with the Chroma Demon. The Chroma Demon is the baseline standard, and then we built a lot of technology onto the Chroma Demon's platform.
Now you have another one here that looks like a drug trip.
Yeah.
Like what? Now why is this one all swirly?
Right. So this is our Fiddleheads chart. This is a patented chart that we've developed. It basically it's a focus chart. So as you're setting your focus and as you're going in and out with your focus, you'll see those two little spirals in the center will really pop out at you right as you hit optimal focus.
The funny thing is they pop out at me without having to do anything with a camera.
Right. Yeah. So with the camera, like the effect is just you know when you've hit focus. It's right there. It's spot on, and it makes for a really easy, simple way of setting focus quickly.
You also have the Galaxy chart. Now, what does this do?
Right, so the Galaxy is, I guess, the evolution of the Chroma Demon chart. It's set up with gradient color strips, which allow for you to see on the vector scope when you're setting up your camera. It allows for you to quickly see the entire color space, the entire 709 color space of that camera. So basically, a really simple way of putting it is the Galaxy connects the dots of the Chroma Demon 28.
Very good. So, and you just keep on going. And this is one of those things that you've just... A lot of this, I imagine, just comes from another, a group of cinematographers, a group of engineers say, okay, this is the next chart we really need.
Right. Yeah, so much of our, so many of our product and so much of our work depends on the people in the industry that we work with, the specialists that we work with. A lot of our charts, like the Billups VFX, the Fairburn 3D chart, a lot of charts like that, they've got their names because those are the people that we've collaborated with in order to develop these really cutting-edge products that people in the industry will need.
Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, no problem.
It's DSC Labs, and this is NAB 2012.
One of the things I love about Alex is he's really as much an educator as anything, and is so excited about new media and creating content, and knows so much from the professional point of view, but wants to bring all of that knowledge to everybody so that you can create as well. And that's really one of the lessons, I think, of the NAB show, which is a show traditionally for professional broadcast engineers, and yet in the 21st century has become less and less for broadcasters and more for just content creators in general. We learned yesterday from the NAB folks that only 25% of the attendees here today, 90,000 people, only 25% are professional broadcasters. There are filmmakers, there are content creators of all stripes, and there are products. You can go over to Blackmagic and look at switchers, cameras, and so forth. I wish I had the kind of inexpensive stuff 5 years ago when I was starting this. $1,000 for a hardware video switcher from Blackmagic. It's kind of amazing. Joining me right now, it's great to have him, Nicholas Smith. He's the technical sales manager in broadcast and post at JB&A, which is a middleman, a distributor for all the technologies that are used by content creators, everything from NVIDIA to Focal Point, Geffen, Telestream, which makes Wirecast. Yep. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
What's your sense of NAB this year?
It's crowded, much more than last year, and I'm really excited because I think that means people are coming out of the woodwork. They're ready to look at new processes, new workflows, new technologies, and dive into them. I think overall people are just ready to get going this year.
Traditionally, JB&A works with professionals.
We do. We're a reseller channel, so we are consultants and specialists in broadcast, post, and AV, in bringing technologies to market, helping to market them, integrate them, and teach people how to use them.
Do you notice more IP broadcasters and content creators in getting involved?
Tons. I've got tons of people always saying, how do I get to the cloud? How do I network my video applications? How do I just take my video and get it into an IP-based workflow?
Right.
So
that's huge right now. Yesterday we had Microsoft on. I was shocked at that. Microsoft Azure, they're trying to sell Azure as a cloud solution for video distribution.
Oh, there's so many of those popping up right now. Haivision just launched a huge streaming solution with Akamai, where anybody can now stream through Akamai. All they need to do is call Haivision, get the encoder, and sign a simple contract.
Wow.
So it allows the smaller people who couldn't get to Akamai in the past to now have a way to distribute on a really large network.
Akamai is a content distribution network with endpoints all over the world.
They're the biggest.
They're the guys.
Yes.
That's what Apple uses,
yes.
for instance. And normally it's very expensive to get on the
It's terribly expensive, and they don't talk to the little people.
Right.
So now you have a way to get to them without having, they're bundling it together with other end users in essence, and it's awesome.
Speaking of bundling, you're telling me that YouTube Live is going to. Can I say that?
It's all over the interwebs at this point. Everybody knows about it, and we're really excited because it's going to open the doors. We've been the big pushers of Wirecast for a long time.
We use Wirecast. It's a great tool.
It's a great tool, and expect really good things going forward. They've just hired a whole engineering staff that's focusing in Emeryville, actually, on Wirecast.
Awesome.
That's all they're doing. And they're really going to bring new development to it, and new key points to it. It's going to be spectacular where it's going.
We use it in a kind of odd way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. He's the flow master. He knows how we use it. But once we use the Tricaster to do the switching and the live post production, then the stream goes to a Wirecast client, right? And is then distributed to our endpoints because we have high and low quality to Justin TV, Ustream, Bit Gravity. We have four endpoints. So Wirecast we use it I don't know if it's exactly how it was designed, but it works very well for us as a distribution hub.
Nobody uses it how it was designed, which is the great part about it because it'll do so many things.
It could do everything the Tricaster is doing.
It actually can do a lot of what the Tricaster is doing, but you can get an inexpensive laptop, a Mac Mini with a Thunderbolt connector, and create a little home production studio. And I get churches calling and end users and corporations.
Is that the best? You represent most of these guys. Is that the best low-cost way for somebody to start doing
That's
video?
the only low-cost way to deal with more than one input.
Right.
Any other thing is going to stream a single feed of video pre-produced.
That's easy. You can do that from a webcam.
Oh, absolutely. USB, anything. It will allow you to embed video clips, add lower thirds, mix between multiple sources, and it actually supports unlimited sources from a multitude of varieties.
Now, how would you do that? Because I've got, let's say, do I have to have a video card for each camera?
You do have to have a video card for each camera. Alternatively, though, we do have support now for mixing different IP feeds. So you could have multiple IP cameras coming in and mix between those.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the guys,
really interesting.
The Teradek, which is a really spectacular little streaming box, it's an available source to Wirecast. So you could have multiple Teradek streaming into Wirecast and then mix between those. Plus you've got all the live video, all the video clips in your system that you can then lay on top of that. So it's a very cool. So what you were alluding to,
the rumor, which is unconfirmed.
Yeah. No, it's happening. It's happening. YouTube Live, when it goes, right now it's in beta. When it goes live, we're going to see a partnership. Basically, with your account, you'll get a copy of Wirecast to develop your streaming channel.
So this is YouTube's way Google's way of fostering more and more people creating live, which I find very interesting, live content, just like we're doing right now.
There's already about 10 or 15 channels up there. And
they put $100 million into those channels. So.
Those are just the beta ones. The guys who were involved in the early tests, they're big players pretty soon. And the nice part about it, it's fairly low cost. You have a lot of control over it. And for us, it's going to really evangelize the Wirecast product.
That's fantastic. What kind of do you sell hardware too, or is it just software?
No, we sell hardware as well. Viewcast for streaming, Haivision for IPTV, as well as streaming through their Coolabyte platform. Geffen.
That's the one that Colleen Kelly's always telling me. You got to go talk to Haivision. You got to get a Coolabyte.
Those guys are awesome. They're great group. No, we've got about
Geffin's hardware, of course. Yeah.
Geffin's hardware, TV1, which I think you guys have. Alex is using a couple TV1 pieces that came through us recently. So no, a ton of hardware platforms as well.
Tell me a little bit about Cat DV.
You know, Cat DV is the world's answer to the death of Final Cut server. It's been around for about 15 years, and the major development has happened over the last few years.
This is for a company that would have multiple editors, all kind of working on the same project, different projects?
You know, all your projects. So what we're able to do is we take all your assets, all of your media, your thumbnails, your video
Listen
files.
to this, Flowmaster.
Yeah, you guys need to call me later. This is everything. You give it all your, and this goes beyond media. This goes to your emails, your PowerPoint
Everything
files.
goes into this bin.
Everything goes into this bin, and you can keyword it, you can search it, you have unlimited amounts of metadata you can apply to it. Because let's lay something on the table now. Metadata is the future. Everything is about metadata.
Well, it has to be, because you're not going to scan every clip to figure out what's in it.
No.
You need to tag it so
tag
that you know what the hell it is.
Yeah, the other thing we do is we pull all the metadata that's in the clip originally. So you can apply a ton of metadata in the camera. The camera applies a ton of metadata.
Sure, where it was shot, how it was shot,
the
things
GPS
like that.
data,
Yep.
all of that. So we siphon all of that, give you a way to parse it, look at it, play with it. Then we allow you to add unlimited volumes of metadata on top of that. Then we allow you to play with your editors and put together cuts-only solutions, previs work, view proxy files on a local network without being attached to the master storage. And then once you've got a simple cut, you can just shove it right to an editor, drop it in a Final Cut bin, an Avid bin, a Premiere bin. We support about 8 other applications on top of that, and you're editing away. So you know what, in my essence, is get your producers out of your edit suites,
Yes.
let them look through this. Plus, we have the one thing that Apple never got to, which was a web portal. We have the ability to push a link to somebody not on your site, let them do previews, review and approvals, all of that. It's awesome.
So, Alex Gumpel, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to call JB&A and find out more about Cat DV. Okay?
I'll come see you guys.
We're just up the road.
I know. I need to see
You're
the building.
in San Rafael.
I'm
It's
so
easy.
bitter that I haven't been up there. So
don't be bitter. You're invited.
All right.
You're more than invited.
I'm there.
You don't have a booth here. You actually are in the booths of all of these companies.
I mean, we've got 18 manufacturers showing here, and
Wow.
we're their reps. We're their technical support. So I've got a guy in every one of those booths. We're walking our resellers and our end users around. I've been meeting with Sony and Photocam and Hub and all kinds of great partners all week, showing them the wares.
What's your product or not? What's some of the most exciting things you've seen at NAB? What are you excited about?
Focal point.
What's Focal point?
Focal point is strawberry for the masses. It's the ability.
What's strawberry?
Strawberry was something from Rourke or Isilon. It's a way to manage avid editors and see their projects. Basically, what we did is we said, everybody, especially a house that's got 10, 15 editors. How do you manage all those products? And really, the use case for this is the BBC right now is using this product in beta for the Olympics. They have
that's a pretty good
that's a big
test
one,
case, yeah.
200 editors working around the clock. And our application is in the middle of all of that, managing each of the editors, automatic revisioning of the bin. So basically, you create a project in Final Cut, in Avid, in Premiere, whatever your application, Photoshop, log it to the server, assign it to an editor. The editor accepts it, it launches the application, populates their bin structure, sets up the naming schema. When they hit save, it automatically updates the file on your server. So you don't have to wait for them to send you the finished product. You already have it.
It's interesting because when I came here on Sunday night, I thought, well, there'll be, certainly I want to see these new Canon cameras. That's a big story. Canon announcing these amazing kind of cinematography cameras. Certainly I'll want to go over to Sony, look at 4K. There's a
beautiful.
JVC 4K camcorder, things like that. But it turns out one of the big stories here is workflow. Because as we create more content, as the content becomes heavier, bigger files and stuff, the idea of how you control this workflow, how you send used to be you'd make a TV show, it'd air on NBC and you're done. Now you send it to 100 different places. It's got to work on the iPad, it's got to work on the iPhone, it's got to work on the internet. Yep. And all of this has to be managed somehow in some way that's rational.
We have what we call an ecosystem. That's a combination of Cache, Cat DV, Studio Network Solutions, and Telestream that creates that ecosystem. What do we get called on most? Where do I put my video files and how do I find them?
Right.
And so with, and actually there's...
So it's funny because, everybody who ever had a computer, where did I download that file to? Well, imagine that times 1,000.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I deal with these guys. One of the guys at Photocam showed me one library the other day had 5,000 assets in it, and that was only the A folder. And I'm like, oh, that's insane. So, actually, the really exciting one that I'm happy about is the commoditizing of a lot of these products, making them less expensive and easier to attain.
Yeah.
So we actually just launched X-Target, which is gives you the ability to take any storage that you attach to a Mac and share it as a SAN. Full SAN capabilities, high-speed iSCSI connection, and then permission control, who accesses it, what they can do with it. So you can take those expenses, XSANs, and all those other compliance, and you can build it out of one of those new Magma Bolt, Thunderbolt connectors, so take less expensive hardware and software solutions and build your own SAN on site for under $1,500.
We are seeing some Thunderbolt solutions, and I know that when Thunderbolt goes fiber in the next generation, that's going to be even more appealing. Is Thunderbolt taken off? No, I don't see enough products. I don't see enough products coming to market. I just don't get it.
I mean, I think the one I really like is Magma, which allows you to have Thunderbolt to PCI cards and go that path, because then you can put a fiber card, an AJA card, or Blackmagic or something in it. I think that's really powerful. We need more of those. We need more robust and bigger ones and daisy-chainable
But people
versions.
just don't seem to be gravitating.
Well, I mean, it's expensive. You look at the Thunderbolt drives that are out there right now. Most of your common editors can't afford that. They're still buying LaCie
The cable's
FireWires.
$50.
Oh, tell me about it.
But I go over to Blackmagic, and they seem to have adopted Thunderbolt, and now they have that camera, the Thunderbolt camera, and there's some interesting things happening, but it's not happening fast. There's
not fast
not
enough. I think the adoption is like 3D TVs. Everybody just bought a brand new HD
so nobody
TV. Nobody's going to buy a 3D TV. It's funny because the only reason that 3D movies are made is because Sony wants to sell more TVs. So that they pump up the filmmakers and say, hey, here's our cameras, go shoot a movie in 3D for us.
Yeah, and then they could say to the home buyer, you don't have 3D. What?
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
You're behind by 3 months. What's going on here?
Forget 3D. I'm going 4K. That's the future as far as I'm concerned.
The one that's really beautiful is Cameron is showing a film over in the Christie Theater. It's a high-speed 4K. It's basically most 4K 2K projection shoots at 24 frames. This one's shooting at 60 frames high speed. So
that's part of his new 5D strategy. Is not only do you do 3D, but you do 4K and you do it at a high frame rate.
Yes, a high frame, that HFR. So Christie in their little theater over there has a 24-minute Cameron piece. It's gorgeous.
Now I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Yeah, it's well worth seeing, and it's so crisp, it's so clean at that high frame rate.
You represent Christie as well.
We do.
They make very high-end, beautiful projection.
Most cinema projection is done on Christie.
Everything in Petaluma is Christie.
Well, and I go to Disney fairly often. There's hundreds of Christie projectors all over Disney. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, it's great talking to you, Nicholas. Thank you.
Kind
of give us a nice overview, a 30,000-foot look at NAB.
It's awesome.
Nicholas Smith, he is a technical sales manager at JB&A, JB&A.com. How many Alex pieces have we done? He said he was going to get 12 in 2 hours. How many have we done? Do we know? How many are left? 7? And we've only got 15 minutes. I don't think we're going to make it. Let's quick go to the field. Alex Lindsey at Kata.
This is Alex Lindsey, and I'm at the Kata booth. And now Kata, I have been using Kata bags for a decade now. And these are this is kind of a whole new set of designs, and so you have a much lighter weight material. It's starting to grow on me, I have to admit, as an old school Kata user. When they changed the surface of these and they made them a lot more lightweight, I wasn't sure if I'd ever use them again. But now I'm starting to get used to it. I'm starting to not be upset. And it's really what you really get is just a real real nice lightweight, but still very, very sturdy bags. This one here is here you can see, as far as a video camera bag, it's really useful to have this kind of yellow interior. You know when it's opened, which is very important, and you know it's there. And a lot of this is all very configurable. So you can actually open these up, move them around depending on the size of your lenses, your batteries, all the other things that you stuff into this. I have again been using these bags for a long, long time. This is a new one. Liana Lahua actually got me hooked onto it. This is a great one. You can get away with it as a carry-on, just barely. But what you can do here is if you open this up, here you can see that you really have. Now I have been able to basically put almost all the gear that you would need for a live event, into this bag. Now in addition to that, what kind of finishes it off is a pocket up in the top here And that pocket is big enough for a 17-inch laptop and a little bit more. So you really have a lot there where you can put a whole kit, into this bag here. And so they really have designed these, like many other times you'll see over and over and over again at NAB. You have professionals that are very, very specific, asking for very, very specific things, and vendors trying to figure out how to solve all that. Anyway, once again, this is Kata. I'm Alex Lindsey. This is 2012 NAB.
Wow. All right. Now, 9 to go. Next, we're going to go to GoPro in just a little bit with Alex Lindsey, but I want to say hi to Rob Belle-Isle. He's Director of Marketing and Engineering for New Media, Professional Broadcast Network, and UPS Division. That's a long title.
Well, yeah. And for this show, it's just the broadcast division that I'm representing here.
Rob, I remember at Tech TV when we started, most television stations do this. There's a certain amount of automation, and it was on tape. We moved to hard drive. We were able to put all of our content on hard drive, and that was a huge revolution. Now you're moving it to solid state.
That's right, we are. So we're introducing solid state over here in the United States. We've had it in Asia for over 10 years.
This is basically flash drives, or is it RAM drives? Or?
Yeah, well, you can look at it as RAM. It's they're single-level cell chips.
SLC flash drives.
That's right.
In fact, you've got a card, and I don't know if we can get a shot of it. Yeah, there it is. You can see the monitor over there. Tilt it to, that way. Look at that. How much memory is that?
Well, we can scale up to 60 terabytes if you want.
On a card that size?
Nope.
No.
Now, this one right here, we're showing a 1 terabyte.
That's a terabyte.
Yeah.
Wow.
On this particular, with a controller for a video server, and then we have one that's about the size this around here for the adaptive streams that are SSDs. And the great news is we're coming out with our next generation, so everything doubles in size.
Wow.
But just to let you know, so
that's expensive, isn't it, to move from hard drives to solid state?
Well, that's the thing. We weren't going to come over here until we can make it price compatible on certain products. So
you mean the same as a hard drive?
The same as a hard drive. So we're showing 2 products here at the NAB on
Holy cow.
South Upper Hall. And what we're showing is a playout server for master control. That's the one that can scale up to 60 terabytes. And it has 2 10G backbone ports for file transfers. And that is one of our products that we will make very price compatible to regular video servers. We weren't going to come over here until we could do that. We're not going to say, you've got this great device. It's all solid state. You don't have to worry about RAID and
it's going to cost you $18 million.
And by the way, it's the price of a Ferrari. So we decided that we weren't going to come over until we can make this happen. And they were selling hotcakes over in Japan. And one nice thing is you don't have to RAID. So usually in the failure point, you have to take out a hard drive. Right. You got to put it back in. You got to rebuild it. With here, that happens between the third and fourth year on regular servers.
These are very reliable.
Yeah, the mean time between failure rate is way up to 12 years instead of between the 3 and 4. Wow. But then even if you do have a failure, you don't have to replace anything. It just has forward error correction. It just tells you this cell is bad. We're going to write around it. Mm-hmm. And you can have up to 256 failures. So that's I don't think anybody swaps out that many.
So are most broadcasters going to move to solid state, you think? Is that the future?
I think that's what they want. The big thing about solid state is, we love it, but we can't afford it. So we have Toshiba is the inventor of solid state. We make royalties on everything that's solid state, but
it'll also be faster, won't it? Because it's basically all random access. So if you wanted to change your lineup, you could do it like that. It's instant access. The green part of it is you don't have spinning disks. You're not creating lot less heat,
less power, and then cooling because you got to cool the heat down. Right. So that's the biggest thing with data centers and these control centers.
Suddenly they're silent, quiet, and cool. Amazing.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Rob Belle-Isle from Toshiba International. That's exciting. I'm really. It's exciting because I'm not using this kind of solution, and most people at home aren't. But it also means that the prices of SLC flash memory are going to be coming down. More and more people are going to be using it. Isn't this going to be the future of storage in general?
Yeah, we're seeing it now. Everyone's got a thumb drive in their pocket now, and they're just growing in size.
I got 32 gigs in my pocket. It's amazing.
Yeah, you can get 64 now if you want to. So,
I know, it's incredible.
So that's the great thing is how they double in size, and just very easy to maintain. We're also showing another product over there for the adaptive stream. So we have this, what we're calling a smart cache server, and that also is in the South Upper Hall. And that can stream. It's a 2RU unit that can stream to 64,000 devices. That could be your iPod or your iPad or any Android device or even your TV.
All done at the same time.
All done at the same time.
From one device.
Yep.
Amazing.
It's very fast.
We might be using that. That's really good.
So yeah.
Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate your coming by.
That's great.
We're going to wrap this up with one more piece from Alex Lindsey. And this is, we saved the best for last. Alex is out at GoPro. Alex?
Hi, this is Alex Lindsey, and we're here at GoPro. Now, we talked about GoPro at CES, but there's a lot of new things that are much more NAB related, and I'm here with Rick Loaghery from GoPro to tell us a little bit about some of the new features that we're seeing here at NAB.
Absolutely. So one of the new things that we're demonstrating here at NAB is the Wi-Fi backpack. The Wi-Fi backpack is the same form factor as our LCD monitor and our an extra battery backpack, and they just snap on the back of the camera, hence we call them backpack. The Wi-Fi battery backpack will allow you to control the camera remotely with a remote control or an app on an iOS device or Android device, iPad, tablet, yeah.
So you're basically able to pair, not through Bluetooth, but through Wi-Fi, be able to pair your iPhone or Android?
Correct.
To the GoPro.
Correct, to the GoPro. And so not only will you be able to control the camera, like obviously stop, start, switch the modes from camera mode to video mode, you will also be able to do live preview. So if the camera's on a car and you're sitting inside, you can see what the camera sees. Then you'll be able to easily pull off the video and photos from the GoPro onto your mobile device and instantly share them out with your friends via, however means, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Very cool. And so now, can you control? You can start and stop it, but you're not. You can only do it to one camera at a time, right?
So for the remote, this little guy right here, the remote control will allow you to control up to 50 cameras with one remote control.
Now you're not. Are you doing them individually or just firing them all up?
Both. You can do simultaneously or you can do individually. So where that becomes important is a place like NAB with the professional market, where they might have 5, 6, 7 cameras around a set. And so it's a way for them to easily start them, stop them, and kind of let them, kind of get them going. With the app, you will only be able to, at first, when the app comes out in a couple months, you'll only be able to control one. And then you'll be able to control multiple cameras through the app. And that's more a limitation of the carriers, because just how you have to turn your phone into a personal hotspot, you can only have up to 5 devices to connect to it. That's kind of what we're limited by there on the app.
And you've also there's a firmware upgrade that improves the color space.
Yeah, the image quality. We've got ProTune that'll be out in a couple months as well. And ProTune is really the answer to the NAB crowd. So me, I should say, as a regular consumer, like we adjust and we set the color inside, so you have these vibrant, brilliant images. But for the people in the post world, they're frustrated by that because they love the camera and they love the versatility of it, but controlling the color of it takes a lot of work. So now we have this new ProTune mode, which provides more neutral colors, actually gets a way more definition, way more clarity in it, and allows them to control the color and match it up with their Canons, their other cameras that they're shooting with. It'll also do 24p, and it'll also do 35 megabits. The bit rate will go up from 15 to 35 megabits per second. So you're getting some pretty raw, great video out of it.
Definitely some added professional features, because a lot of professionals are using these. I mean, I think that it was seen as kind of a way for really high-end or extreme sports to capture what they were doing.
Yeah.
But it's really converted into this kind of Swiss Army knife that a lot of us just kind of attach to things just to make sure we get one more camera angle.
That's right. I mean, we've seen it used in many productions. George Lucas's Red Tails, they just used it and they had it in the cockpit of the B-52 bomber. Deadliest Catch, we've been big fans of theirs, and they've been using our camera a lot, putting it on the crab traps, putting it in those types of productions. It's truly a matter of safety. They can't be hanging off the rig with a camera, but it's really light to stick a camera on this side and get the shots that they couldn't get otherwise. Would be too costly or too dangerous.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you. And this is GoPro at NAB 2012.
Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a good time. I know we are. And we'll see you soon. Leo Laporte, live from NAB 2012.